back to the channel, and this is my first unboxing video that I'm doing. We just got all the hives together. Now I'm going to need some equipment to take care of the bees and to take care of the hive and to feed the bees. So with that, I made an order under some suggestions of some local experts here, and this is what I got. Our plan is to install a nuke in this hive. A nuke is basically a working hive. It's 5 boards of, now remember, the bottom box is where the brood is, and we have these boards that they draw the honeycomb down. Well, what this is doing is I'm buying a nucleus that already has 5 boards with the honeycomb, with the brood, the bee eggs, and a working queen, and the whole hive is working. So we're going to install that in here. Now, because we're installing it into a new hive and they're not familiar with the area, we're going to have to feed them. So it was suggested to me a couple different ways of feeding them. And what I was suggested, which works the best for another flow hive beekeeper, was a top feeder. What this does is it will sit on the top of the hive. On top of the hive, you have a board, and this board will have a hole in the middle of it, and this is for feeding. Okay, so what happens is we will set this, it'll be on the top of the hive, and this is your feeder. The feeder has a hole in the bottom, and it sits right on top, and what you do is you have a sugar water solution, which is called sugar syrup, that the bees will use for food until they start going out and getting their flight plans ready and knowing where all the flowers are and everything. So what happens is you fill this up with sugar syrup, and they come out through the hole here, and they'll crawl down and feed, but they won't get stuck in the sugar syrup solution. And it holds about half a gallon, and this sits on top of the board like this. So when the bees come to the top of the beehive, they find the hole, they come through the hole, and they find the food. And that will just sit on top like this. Now, because of the way the flow hive roof is, some adjustments might be made on the top to make it fit the right way. But for the most part, this is what's been suggested to me. It works the best. The next thing was a bee brush. It's a real soft, gentle brush. So when you do have to open your hive and you have the bees are on top, and you're placing another box on top, and you don't want to hurt the bees, you can gently brush the bees away with the bee brush. And of course, everyone's seen a smoker. And what I liked about this is from Foxhound Bee Company. It has a little clip here that, when not in use, it'll close the bellows. Inside it has a cage around it, so you won't burn your hands. And inside the top, it has a small baffle. And what happens is you put your pine needles or your heat, whatever you're using for fuel, burning in there, and then you take this and you set this right on top of it. So that sits down on top of the fuel. As the fuel diminishes, it goes down. What does that do? It prevents hot embers from coming out of the tube onto the bees, because you're going to give a couple puffs of smoke, and you don't want any hot embers going on. So it prevents the bees from getting hurt. So there's my new smoker. And most important is my new bee suit. On YouTube, you see and hear a lot of people talking about should you wear a suit, should you not wear a suit, and what I've gathered from everybody is, as a beginner, you should always wear a suit for safety until you become comfortable. I've seen videos out there with guys with no gloves, t-shirts, and to me that just doesn't seem safe. So from Flowhive, I ordered one of their ventilated suits. It is called, it's a ventilated suit that comes with several different options. It wasn't that expensive. It was about $150. Comes in this nice little kit. In that it has an instruction manual, a little bit of information about how to care and maintain it, a little explanation about the mesh netting, and some of the things that come with it. With this suit, you get a pair of ventilated goatskin gloves and a hive tool, which I'm going to show you. So we open up the suit kit, slide it out. And right up on top is a little package with Velcro, and inside is a hive tool. The hive tool is very important. When the bees start making their home and preparing everything, they make this stuff called propolis. It's like a really hard cement, seals everything up. So when you do have to go into your hive to do an inspection, to see how the hive is working, if there's any problems, from what I was told, 2 or 3 times a year, you take this hive tool and you put it between the joints, and you can break it apart, and that propolis will break. So otherwise you could pull it, you just wouldn't be able to separate it. This helps you separate it. And this little hook on the top, and we'll show you this outside when we start putting this together, but what happens is all these are together. This helps you pull the board up and pull it out of its slot, because again, propolis is going to hold this all in place, and this helps you to safely pull it out without killing or squishing any bees. So you get this handy hive tool. Now Flowhive has done a couple of things with this little pouch, which is kind of neat, and I'll show you afterwards. And the long gloves. Now, what I like about Flowhive is they have a size chart. You figure out what size it is, and you order it, and next thing you know, the gloves come sized according with your suit. It's all generalized, and I was really concerned because I'm a big guy and I have very big hands, and I was like, I don't know if they're going to pick the right size gloves. They did, so it all worked out. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the suit on and then tell you a little bit about some of the features I've noticed after putting it on. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Had the suit on. Like I said, I was a little bit concerned about the sizing. I don't like buying stuff online without trying something on first, but it's in Australia, so how am I going to try it on? It got delivered, and guess what? It fits pretty good. It's a little snug around the inside, but other than that, it's pretty good. What I like about it is the sleeves, the collars on the pants, as well as the cuffs on the wrist have these nice thumb loops. And you're like, well, what are those for? Well, when you put your gloves on, you have the glove, you have this long, another elastic band that goes around it, and if you don't have that thumb loop, it kind of rides up. This way, you can put this up like this, and you don't have to worry about it riding up. Gloves fit really good. They're not thick and bulky, so I think that they'll give you enough protection, but also you can pick up little things, which is, you know, when you get thick, heavy gloves, it's kind of hard to do some fine manipulation. It seems pretty good. Remember I was telling you about the hive tool in the little pouch. This is what I thought was neat. On the back of the pouch has Velcro, and then in the pocket, on the back side of the pocket here, but on the inside, there's Velcro too. So you take your pouch and you can put it in your pocket, and it won't move out. You won't fall out of your pocket. It's stuck right there, and then you just put the flap over it. You want your tool, you reach down, here's your tool. You want to put it away, you put it back in your pocket. And I think it works out really well. It's handy, and it's really ready, you know, it's there so you can use it. You don't have to worry about, you know, putting it down and not having something to hold it. So I think that's a good thing. The other thing is, if you need to get something out of your pockets or your pants, there's a zipper you can zip up from the bottom. Also, when you put your hood on, I thought it was going to be hard. It's really not. It telescopes out like this and has a zipper on both sides. That zip around the front. Really easy, makes a good seal. Then this Velcro goes on the top. Put your gloves on. And one thing I noticed, I'm glad I spent the extra money for the vented suit. Even with this suit being vented, it's warm, and I can imagine being out in the sun and getting really warm. The other suits that don't have the venting, it's just like a thick cotton. I can see that getting really, really hot. So yeah, this is my unboxing. Some of the equipment that the really basic equipment you need to work on your hive, and I hope that this has been beneficial. I'll have some links in the bottom where I got this stuff and the cost, and yeah, so hopefully we'll see you next time on the channel.